Hey guys, welcome back. It's Josh with the Financial Advisor Car Guy. This week, as promised, we're working on the Mustang. Now, what you're gonna see is this shining light right here under the underside of the car. So before I take you under there to show you what we're working at here, I wanted to give you a little bit of background. So the car about a year ago underwent an alignment. And you probably remember the episode, but if you don't, my mechanic and I put the new transmission in, we got it on the road for the first time, really allowing it to shift. And I had to like white knuckle the car because I'd never ever in the history of owning this car gotten it above like 35 miles an hour because of the old transmission never shifting, and that's a whole nother rabbit trail. But the point of the story is I'd never driven this car faster than 35 miles an hour, and I did. And it just started like wandering the road, not quite fishtailing, but sort of what it felt like. So I immediately knew there's something wrong with all the steering components. So I went ahead and took it into a tire shop, had them give it a full alignment. And they basically said, you know, Josh, here's the deal. All this stuff is worn out. We did the best we could with what's on the car, but ultimately you need new inner and outer tie rods. You probably need a new steering box, a new center link, all the things. And so I went ahead and ordered them. And I got them assembled here on the floor, and I've got the old parts already out. I got a little overzealous and started working on it without doing this part of the video first. So you're already into the project, you know, I don't know, an hour, something like that. More than that, because the steering box, the factory steering box has already been removed and the new one is already in. So let's go ahead and step under the car, and I'm gonna use this ring light here that you can see, and I'll kind of shine it around and show you guys what we're looking at. So for perspective, here's the front grille of the car, and we're gonna go down below. And I've got a ring light here in my hand, and this I'm gonna use as kind of our flashlight. So bear with me here, but we're gonna walk underneath the lift, and I'm gonna kind of crouch down. And right up in here is the steering box. Now this is obviously brand new. You can tell by the fresh ceramic-y looking cover coat. But the old box came right out, the new one fit right in, perfect, it's bolted back in, it's ready to go. We actually have the wrong pitman arm, and I'll get into that, but that's why we stopped this project. I'm gonna set my ring light down so it might get dark for a moment, but realistically, that pitman arm is for power steering. And let me step back out from under there. This car has never had power steering as long as I've owned it. But what it did have was kind of a power assist. So I'm gonna show you over my shoulder. We've got the old inner outer tie rods, we've got a center link, we've got the steering assist, and then of course the old steering box. And then we have new inner and outer tie rods for both sides and a new center link. But again, with the new center link, well, let me show you again here. So the new center link is this one. This end right here is a lot different than what we have up here. Now we have this hydraulic arm with a little reservoir that had some fluid in it with some hydraulic lines coming in and out of it. And essentially that was a power steering assist. It wasn't a real true power steering, and I don't know how many cars came with this, but as long as I've had the car, I've never had power steering. I do have a power steering pump on my 302, but it's a seized little engine motor. The pulley doesn't, it's all seized up. I've never had power steering, bottom line. I've never had power steering, and I've learned to live with the car that way. And I don't necessarily think that I need to fix it to have power steering. And if I did, honestly guys, I'd go with a more modern day rack and pinion or something a little bit nicer than just a power assist. So I'm basically deleting that. Essentially, I bought a center link that I thought would mount right up to my setup now. Well, what I'm missing is that new pitman arm. And it's a different part number if you had the power assist versus if you did not. So as you can see here, again, mine has like a hole here that should slip over a stud. Well, this has a stud. So the new pitman arm, let's actually go back up here. As you can see, this pitman arm, the stud on the power assist slips up, and then there's like a castle nut on top. Well, the correct pitman arm has a stud that comes down with a castle nut. So I just need to order the new pitman arm. Then I can get this thing back together. The inner and outer tie rods have all been adjusted and set. literally down to the millimeter. I went ahead and measured the old setup, especially since it's already been aligned, built the new setup to mirror it identically, literally just needs to be bolted back up. So I'm gonna continue as soon as that pitman arm arrives, and I'll pick up the video then. Hey guys, so I wanted to give you a final update. As you can see, the car is out of the garage. It is running, it is driving. I was able to get all the new components put on, the steering box is installed, the center link with new inner and outer tie rods, all that stuff is hooked up and ready to go. I just drove the car around the block for an initial just test drive, and the steering wheel itself still feels a little bit sloppy, but the steering box and all the under components, everything feels nice and tight. So if I let go of the steering wheel, it tracks really well. I'm still gonna go ahead and get it realigned, and we'll see what happens from there. But again, the car's done, at least for now. I'll be able to drive it. We have a car show coming up this weekend, so the car will be down there. Looking forward to showing it with the fastback roof on it for the first time. Very few people have seen one of these in person, so it's always kind of a fun treat. But yeah, I'll keep you guys posted, and I'll give you updates on other things to come. But for now, I wanted to wrap up this video for this car. It did take me a few more days than I thought. I had to wait for that pitman arm to arrive, and I intended to actually show it to you before it went in the car. But what I'll do is I'll hold up the old one so you can kind of see what the problem was. So here's the old one. And the problem is really right on this end here. You can see that there's a hole. Well, on the pitman arm that I really needed for this car, being that it's not a power steering car, is that I needed to have that same pitman arm, but instead of the hole, it needs to have a rod. And so, yeah, I mean, basically, I had to order a different one. Simple as that. Nothing, no frill, it's just, you know, nothing different. It's just a piece of steel. But I had to have one that had the pin on it with the castle nut on it so that it would connect to the center link, instead of this one that has the open end that connected to that power assist or non-power assist. So that's the only difference. But I had to order that. That set me back about a week. That is why this video is delayed, so I apologize for that, but I still wanted to get it out and get it up to date for you guys. So there you have it. I'll keep you guys posted again on future things to come with the car, but in the meantime, I'm gonna go for a drive. Until next time, may every investment you make be a good one.